Hello, hello. So I've been guided to once again hop on, create a video for us all. And there have been two topics kind of floating around that want to be addressed. And one is basically the ascension into 5D, our new 5D reality. And what's been kind of going on with that. And the other one is lack mentality versus being aligned and in the flow. And and both are really important for my ascended entrepreneur tribe, because those of us who are ascended entrepreneurs have been on our ascension journeys for some time now, and we've been having, throughout the years, all the symptoms and feeling the energies shift and change and flow and weave and wind and all that stuff. First of all, what wants to be mentioned is Atlantis has merged into our 5D reality. I haven't gotten a lot of information as to what that means, but that message came through today. I'm more familiar with the energy of Lemuria, but Lemuria merged with us during our ascension journey quite some time ago at this point. So, but I feel what's coming through now is that Lemuria is very feminine, very I don't know what to say besides just like flowy, and that Atlantis has a little bit more structure, and which is good because we need containers for the flow. So I feel like the Atlantic energy, Atlantean, I guess, energy is about to be quite helpful, because a lot of us have been, like, within our business realms, we've been kind of feeling a little bit like we're struggling to try to get things done, and but the energies haven't been allowing us to do that, because we've been supposed to be in training. Basically, we've been in flow school, learning how to be in our flow. And so the moving forward into any sort of, structurized planning and scheduling and things like that, it's been hard to grasp. And I think those of us who have tried to grasp it at any point have felt very frustrated, because the thing is, we weren't meant to be trying to grasp structure and scheduling yet. In the new 5D reality, we've been meant to be adjusting our own energies within the new energetic, way of things. And but certain cool things have been coming through that I've been noticing. One is that one of my spiritual gifts is clairaudience, which means clear hearing, like as in clairvoyance is clear seeing. Clairaudience is clear hearing. And I've known that I'm clairaudient for many, many years, but it used to freak me out because, when I would hear things when I was like by myself in a room, or like hear a voice whispering from behind me, turn around and like there's nothing there, but it's like a message that wanted to come through. I kind of at that point said, this was years ago, like I said, early 2000s, I was like, stop, I'm not ready for this yet. Don't give me my visions in, my clairvoyance and my claircognizance, which is clear knowing, where you just know something without knowing why you know it. And I said, I'll accept my clairaudience, my clear hearing, but just wait. And once it finally comes, introduce it a little at a time, and we'll go from there. But I've noticed it really kind of fine-tuning itself lately, and I'm not scared anymore. It doesn't even surprise me when it happens anymore. Today I kept hearing sounds like as if I was inside of a large clock structure, and little, like, I don't know what to call them. I don't know what the innards of a clock, are called, the different parts, but it just sounded like, I could hear mechanisms going, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And in time, we just sprang ahead an hour. So I'm wondering if that was like time adjusting itself. And I've been adjusting to the time adjustment. So there's that too. Earlier today, I saw excuse me, a bright flash of white light out of the corner of my right eye. And I turned and nothing was going on. Uh-oh. Sorry. When I channel and do these videos, I'm often releasing a lot. Oh, and that's another thing. That's another, thank you. Ascension, journey into the 5D reality symptom is that we've been doing a lot of clearing from the heart and lungs upwards. And so, that can turn into like physical clearing, not to get too technical or gross, but so that's what's going on with me there. And dreams, really, really vivid dreams in which anything left over from our past that still needs to be worked out and processed is being worked out and processed. And that happened to me earlier today. Oh my goodness. I had a dream that there were all these, there were beings, they looked human, wearing, human clothes, had human haircuts, and, but I kept trying to look into their eyes, and they had like no soul. They had like no essence, nothing going on. And when I would like approach them to try to talk to them, they would like somehow like grab onto my arms or grab one arm, and I would be like, no, and I'd try to let them go or try to make them back off. And like, in a couple different cases, whether it was with like a hand or with one of them grabbed like some sort of plastic object and just kept jamming me repeatedly in the solar plexus chakra. And in my dream, I could feel it. It was like, bam, 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 like really physically. And then I would like wake up out of that dream and look around and see people and go, oh, thank goodness I'm in reality now. And then I'm like, oh no, it's the beings without souls again, and they're gonna grab me again. And that kept happening, and it was like, oh my God. But there was definitely, it was a processing of of wounds, solar plexus wounds, which has to do with self-esteem, self-confidence, believing in yourself, standing in your truth, strength of character. That's what's coming through. And and I mean, if I think about my life, I would say, like, if someone I knew would look at me, they would think that I already have that, where I stand in my truth and speak my truth, and I'm strong about my convictions, and becoming who I am and being who I am and all that. But there was apparently still some work left to do. Bam, bam, right in the gut, over and over again. Really unpleasant and horrifying. And when I finally woke up, I was like, oh man, like, and a lot of my dreams have been that very vivid, very disturbing, working out of old wounds. So But the good news is they're being worked out and processed through, which means I have, what that really means is that I've consciously chosen to be in my power, to own my truth. So anything that's no longer serving me is being processed out. And so you might be finding things like that are happening for you as well. So now I'm being guided to move on to talking about, because there are, like for example, there's just a person I know who is so magical, so psychic, such a shining soul, but they have mental blocks against moving forward into their power, into their, and I know that the reason that I keep experiencing them not moving into their power is so that I can use it as an example of where people can be choosing to stay stuck. I mean, a very simple example is they say something like, oh, well, I thought it would be cool to maybe get that or do that thing or whatever, but it's too expensive. I can't afford it. And I mean, we hear people say things like that all the time, and it just seems normal. But I've always had, when it comes to abundance and prosperity, all my life, I've always had what I call my truthometer, my abundance truthometer, or just my truthometer, where I hear people say something out loud and my truthometer automatically goes, that's a lie, or that is true. And I didn't ask for this, I just have it. It's just in me. And I mean, interestingly enough, it feels like it's like in or around my solar plexus. But so so this person, I can't afford it or whatever. And and what's another one? I can't even remember exactly what they said, but it was giving their power away to external factors when it comes to their own health, as if they don't know that they get to create their whole and perfect health from within themselves. Like, or talking about like a situation, where they could actually create what they want in their life to be their reality. But instead of doing that, they like vaguely touch upon it and then they go, well, we'll see how it turns out. Like, well, I won't see how it turns out. I'll create it the way I want it to turn out for myself, and I don't say that out loud. That's what I think in my head because I know it to be true. And it could be true for this person as well, who's saying these things, these very disempowered statements, which happen usually kind of sprinkled out through conversations I have with them every other time I talk to them, or I would say that's probably pretty accurate. And so I think, oh, well, I mean, I can't control them. But it's an interesting example for me to then use to say, what would you rather do? How would you rather be? What do you choose? What do you choose? Do you choose to say, I'm going to wait and see what happens and rely on external sources or forces to decide how your reality is going to be, in whether it's in your business, in your life, in your fulfillment of your dreams or whatever? Or are you going to choose to say a conscious yes to yourself and choose to consciously create your reality, your business, your life, your dreams as you truly desire them to be, from your soul and from your heart and from your whole being? I'm in that category. And it's like you don't have to force anything to happen. But you also don't wait and see what's gonna happen. I don't know whatever gonna means. You know, it's about being clear in your intentions, being clear in your purposes of why you're here on earth in this lifetime, your earth purpose, your life purpose, your soul purpose. Being clear on how you want to feel. That's an Abraham Hicks one, but it's really important. In fact, I love the Abraham Hicks teaching of choosing to feel good, choosing to feel happy, choosing to be in your joy, choosing to be in the flow is pretty much all you have to do in order for all of your conscious creation of reality to kick in and get in gear and get going and happen. And it's way simpler than person A over here who's waiting to see what happens in the outside world, that will determine how they feel or that will determine their life. I'm like, hell no, you know. I'm sorry, you know, but it ain't me, babe. Never will I be that. And so, yeah, there's that. And I think that's pretty much it. No energy healing coming through today, just wanting to touch on these subjects and then leave it to you. If you feel like sharing your experience, please do. And I'm glad you're here.